Yeah, I do like this matchup. So yeah, man, moving on here. Next up, Sijara Eubank versus Karol Rosa. As you know, uh, original matchup was supposed to be Sijara Eubank versus Macy Chiasson. This fight actually might be a little bit better for Sijara, in my opinion. I think this is going to be more so competitive. I thought that Macy Chiasson was a little too big and a little bit too powerful for Eubank. Just because I always think of her as a featherweight. I was actually doing a prediction breakdown for that one the same day that Macy had pulled out. So I was like, damn, well, let me put that on hold. I'll finish that up whenever that fight, gets rescheduled. But as of right now, like I said, Eubank, Rosa, this one's actually going to be a little bit more competitive in my opinion. You got to look here, as far as how they match up. Rosa, she has a half-inch reach advantage. She's 1 inch taller, 10 years younger. So you can look at this either way. You can either look at it as 10 years of experience for Sarge, or 10 years of youth and energy that could benefit Rosa. So it all depends on how you want to look at it. But Karol Rosa, I'm going to look at her first, man, as a fighter. I think she's a solid striker. She's a fast starter. She's strong, good takedown defense, also got good ground game. She doesn't mind trading. I've seen her in like some of her past fights where she goes right out first round ready to throw those straight punches. So she has some very nice straight strikes. I think she's a pretty good on her feet. So looking at Karol Rosa, I guess for keys to victory for her, I would say against a fighter like Sijara Eubank, you want to start fast. Go ahead and find your range early and start putting that jab to Eubanks, because sometimes Eubanks, you can kind of take her time and kind of wait to feel you out. But while she's kind of waiting and fainting, go ahead and start putting that jab to her face consistently, to throw her rhythm off. Throw the jab and move around a little bit so Eubank can never get in a groove. Constantly pop that jab out. Put strikes together. Like I said, I think that Rosa, she throws some good combinations. So I want to see throw punches and bunches at times. Whenever she comes straight in, throw the 1-2, throw the 1-2-3, and then end it with the leg kick. She does that. It's her past fight against Vanessa Mello had good results with it. Whenever a fighter is stationary, so whenever Eubanks is just standing, you pop, hit that leg and step back out. And you got to remember, somebody Betch Coher, she has success outlanding over Eubanks. So, she's a boxer as well. She was out brawling Eubanks at times. So I think that it really just comes down to being able to outwork her and have a higher output, punch output. And that's something that Karol Rosa already has. Pick her moments to strike in this fight. That's another key to victory. I think that you just can't go in there and trade like you did with some of your past opponents. Sajar is a little bit more powerful, a little bit more stronger, and she's been working on her boxing. So you don't just dart in and out with Eubanks. You got to step side to side. And when you are being first, you got to move your head. I think that Rosa can be open to take shots while she's giving shots. She's been cracked a few times too as well, but just not against better opponents. So somebody like Eubank, you don't want to take her overhand right straight to the face, and you don't want to constantly get hit by straight left hands while you're trying to get yours off. Make it clean. Get your shots off. Don't make it exchanges. So that's something that she needs to do. And make sure her takedown defense is solid. I know it is. So whenever Eubank tries to come straight in there, use that strength, put Eubanks in the clinch, or just straight sprawl out whenever she tries to go for that double leg takedown. Because don't want to give Eubanks any type of advantage, when she shoots in and takes you to the ground, because it's going to be all Eubanks, I think, when it goes in my opinion, if it goes to the ground. Of course, unless they get into like to later rounds, because sometimes, Eubanks can kind of gas. Sijara Eubanks, like I said, I think she's an all-around strong grappler, really solid on the ground. That is her game, but she also has a growing skill in boxing, and I think her striking is improving. And she looks a lot better than she did at flyweight, in my opinion. I think at bantamweight, she does look, like she's finally in the weight where she needs to be. So looking at her keys to victory, I think that Eubank should start using movement early. And by movement, I just mean, don't stand in one spot and give Rosa a target. Bounce around on her toes, a little bit like she was even doing against Sarah Morris. Bounce around, use more feints and use those feints to kind of find out what Rosa's reaction is going to be. Whenever you use those feints, see if she'll dart in. And that's whenever you start to find your range with your jab and you start to counter. I know that there's just a half-inch reach advantage here, so it's almost going to be equal, as far as like trying to find that distance for Eubanks. Set up your power shots and your counters. Don't go in there trying to trade or throw exchanges. I think when Rosa comes in, she kind of comes in with her chin out as well. Sometimes, she kind of leaves that wide open space between her left hand and her right, whenever she's in her striker stance. So there's always a good moment that Eubank can just time that moment and land a straight left up the middle. And also whenever she steps in with those combinations, Rosa that is, Eubank can come over the top with her overhand right. Because whenever Eubank sets that overhand right up, it does damage. When she landed that punch on Sarah Morris a few times, as Sarah Morris was being very aggressive, she rocked Morris a couple of times with that shot. So I think she just needs to be more tactical with it and more methodical. But let it go at the right time. Don't wing it. Be more calculated with that shot. That's why that was part of my next part with her, was the time and set up the overhand right. But take the fight to the ground. Switch levels with the attack. Catch Rosa off balance. Feint with the jab to get the takedown. Feint like you about to throw that jab, that you go in and get the takedown, or go for that double leg takedown off overhand right. If you crack her with the overhand right, get that double leg, get her straight to the ground. In that side control, just hold her down and maul her for those rounds. Sajar, she, like I said, she's a physically strong fighter. So, do what you do. Do what you do best, and don't try to give the other don't try to give your opponent any type of advantage. But overall, I would say Eubank should keep it to the ground. And if she's going to keep it standing, she has to keep it a very, very smart fight where she can counterpunch. Eubank has to be the counterpuncher in this fight. Don't go in there and trade, because I think that Rosa will beat her when it comes to punch output and land more punches. So she has to counter with that good left hook she has in that overhand right. Again, Rosa, she throws in higher volume, so that'll favor her more if she tries to stay in the pocket. So she wants to keep that distance and be the counterpuncher, in my opinion, if it stays to the feet for these 3 rounds. Prediction, man, another tough call here. I could honestly see Karol Rosa winning this fight, especially if they try to trade at times. I think that, trading can be a positive and a negative for Karol Rosa in this fight. If she stays in there for a long time, she could get caught hard with Eubanks' shots. But if she stays in there, she could also just outstrike and kind of frustrate Eubank. Sometimes Eubank's not letting her hands go. Rosa can land her shots and get out, So honestly, I think that if it stays standing, the striking is going to favor Rosa, because again, Betts, she had pretty good success against Eubank with her boxing, and I think that Rosa could have the same thing. And I think if she wears her down in those rounds, especially if Eubank starts getting caught with shots and she goes in for a takedown and she doesn't get it, it's going to kind of wear Eubanks down. And Eubanks might not be able to level up in that second and third round. So that's a possibility. But if Eubank starts cracking her early and counter punches right, like I said, if she hurts Rosa, because I don't think Rosa been hit with shots like what Eubank, like the shots Eubank can get off, I think that Eubanks can hurt her and get her to the ground and get ground control for I'd say the second and third round. First round might be a feeling out round for Eubank, but when she get that second and third, she might get into her groove. So doing this math real quick in my head, I'm gonna go with Eubank in this. I'm gonna go with Eubank by a decision in this fight. I don't know how close it's gonna be, but I can see Eubank winning the second and third round with ground control here and some good counter punching. I think she'll catch Rosa early as she's coming in, but that's what she's gonna have to do to stop that volume punching of Karol Rosa. You got to make your shots count and get respect from Rosa, or Rosa's going to be letting her hands go. So Eubank, I think she's going to land those counters early, like she did in the Sarah Morris fight, and she's going to get some good ground control in here and down to the second and third, and some good ground and pound. So I'm going to go Eubank in this fight. That's my pick. But yeah, let me know, guys, in the comment section what y'all think about both of these fights. Like I said, I'm going to chop this video up. So just in case y'all want to get straight to the breakdown and predicts for this one. So yeah,